If you're like me, there's nothing you love more than the shared player experience with the player to your left and the player to your right. I love this. You get this kind of gameplay in Seven Wonders, Kodama Forest, Between Two Cities, and Between Two Castles of Mad King Ludwig. I love those games because what you're doing is you are playing and passing cards, perhaps, especially in Seven Wonders, in this way where you're looking at something and then investing in either this side or that side, or in some cases, both sides. And that's exactly what you get in Splito. This is a fascinating card game that really condenses or simplifies that concept and gives you that experience in a short card game that plays up to 8 players. And I have to say, the more players, the better. That's going to be my biggest suggestion here, because what players are doing is they are dealt a hand of cards that have 2 different types of cards. You've got one which is just the color and the suit value, much like most normal card games. So you have a value from 1 to 6 in a variety of suits. The other type of card that you might be dealt in your hand is a scorecard, and the scorecard is going to have a multiplier on the top in the form of diamonds. And the more diamonds, generally the harder it is to achieve, but this is going to ask you to have something or to not have something. And you have 2 player areas, one between you and the player to your right and one between you and the player to your left. So when you get your hand, you get your cards dealt to you at the beginning of the game, you are going to look at those, pick one, place that deck between you and the player to your left. So yes, you are card drafting, you're passing that deck, and you're going to look at the next deck over. You're going to take that one card and place it in one of your 2 player areas. So you have to pick, am I investing in my, right side? Am I investing in my left side? And it's a real choice. It's a really fun situation because there is something to get the game started. There are going to be 2 scorecards in the center of the table that will be evaluated at the end of the game, where everyone plays 1 card, pass the deck, play 1 card, pass the deck until there are no more cards left. And that's going to be the end of the game. And those 2 cards in the center will be evaluated. And if there's a tie, nobody gets it, and only the one play area between 2 players is going to receive that if they have the majority. And all you need to do is add up all your diamonds from your right side and multiply it times the diamonds you won on the scorecards to your left side. That's your score. And that essentially means that the player who has the 2 multipliers that gives them the highest value, they win the game. So there is one winner, but it's all about sharing and essentially planning with the person to your left and to your right, but making sure that you do better than they do with their players to their left and to their right. So just a really delightful game. It has a lot of scorecards. It has a lot of possibilities. With a certain number of players, you only play with those amount of cards dealt out to every player at the start of the game. And games are pretty fast, 15, 20 minutes and you're done, you score up, and boy is it dynamic. It gives that card drafting mechanic with playing into a tableau to your right and to your left with fellow players, just the 2, the right and left, in a short amount of time, and without having tile laying or extra cards to play. Like in Seven Wonders, there are so many different cards to get to know as you pass and you compare to your left and to your right. But with this, it's just streamlined, it's really fast, and I highly suggest that you play with more players than you do fewer. It does start at 3, and I think that with 3, it didn't have the same dynamic. I felt like with 3, you could very easily leave one person out, and 2 people could just simply say, we are going to make this one really, really nice, and then the ones coming to the other player that has both their right and their left just kind of get left out in the cold. But with 4 or more, I noticed that the dynamic shifted and there was just the right amount of tension. And boy, did my groups get really rowdy. They had a fantastic time because you're sitting there looking at the player to your left or right going, please play with me, play in our section. Like, you can't be specific and name things and you can't indicate what you're doing, but you can say to them, stop ignoring our tableau. We need this scoring. Remember this scoring. And then you look to the player to the other side and you're like, we're doing cool, man. You fist bump, it's really fun. So just a load of fun, tons of cards, tons of possibilities. And if you have fewer amount of players, the decks will come back around to you. So there are some things that maybe you can bank on or hope for or plan to see, in coming turns. But I think the real joy and the real tension here with this is 1 card. You don't get 2. And I think that makes this game work really well. So you get 1 card, you put your deck over to the side and you pick here or you pick here, and then everyone reveals at the same time what their card is and what side they picked. So it's just really cool, super replayable, really, really pretty. It has nice design and it's just got that perfect abstract quality to it where there's no theme, there's no pictures of anything, it's just designs and colors and shapes. So it's just so easy to get into, and I love that it goes up to 8, and I think that it works really, really well when you have a bunch of players at the table. So enjoy Splito with a bigger group for your game night. Boy, lots of fun.